Ta-da! Awesome. So welcome everybody to day 3 of CIE. We are almost halfway through this event. So there's still lots more to come though. So today we'll be starting off with our events production and graphic design panel. And then right after we'll move into our student leaders where we'll be chatting to some of the collegiate leaders from around Canada to see where their programs are at, where they're headed. And then we're going to head into our League of Legends top 8 and our semifinals, and that'll close out the rest of our day. So we'll start, of course, with this panel, the events, production, and graphic design. So we're going to kind of get a deep dive into the field of gaming and esports production and graphic design, of course, through our local industry experts. So I have 5 people that are super good at what they do with me today. And can we get you guys to introduce yourselves as well as tell everybody what your favorite video game of all time is?
Oh, I guess I could start. Hello, thanks for having me. I'm Acrylic. Some people know me as Spencer. I'm an illustrator, graphic designer, a big fan of esports and production, everything behind the scenes. And I'm the head of graphics for CIE this year. And actually, on that note, I heard a whole lot of positive feedbacks about the graphics this year, so I'm very happy to be here and take part of all of this. And yeah, thank you. And my favorite game of all time, probably Terraria or a lesser known game, Dyson Sphere Program. But I think for games that I've actually been playing the most is probably League and Helldivers 2 lately. So there's that. There's that. Don't have to get too much into that one. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Hey, okay. Thank you, Acrylic. And then we'll get Alex introduce himself next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm a caster and I work in production at Humber College Esports. So I do a bit of casting and also working to build up our production on the varsity side of things at the college. And I also do some industry work outside of that. So I'm working with the Raptors Uprising in the 2K League, doing their play-by-play commentary. I'll be doing some production assistant stuff for Get on My Level this next week. And yeah, so just a little bit of everything around the industry and the production side of things. Favorite game of all time on the thread of Get on My Level, Super Smash Bros. Melee. And then games that have been addicted. I've been addicted to recently. I can't stop playing Balatro, that poker roguelike, pretty new game. I'm so
It's so
addicted to
fun.
that right now. I played it. I was supposed to be being ready for the panel today, and I was like, I got to do a run first. Then I'll start thinking of my answers. So if they're unpolished, now you know why. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for having me on the panel, and let's see how it goes.
Awesome. And then down to you, Adam.
Hello, I'm RareAdam, Adam Choles. I'm the current director of digital media at the NECC. I'm head of production for Collegiate Valorant Hub, head of production for Running the Rift, currently one of the tech directors on the Salty Runback, CLOL streams as well. Among other things, I guess I still freelance on the side somehow, some way. Yeah, just really been enjoying the switch over to production. I'm pretty sure last year when you had me on a panel, I was still effectively a full-time caster and everything, and then decided to make the switch and said, hey, let's do production. And now here I am producing for everyone because apparently everyone needs producers, which is a good thing. It's a good thing there's a lot of productions. Favorite video game of all time is Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I got it out of a cereal box when I was 4 years old. I think I still have it installed on my PC, despite several different iterations and not having a CD-ROM reader. The game that I play the most, unfortunately, is the Riot Games titles, League, Valorant, TFT, and all that stuff. But I think the game that's sort of like off the wall that I play a lot is Civ 5. Civ 6 kind of sucks, so I just keep playing Civ 5 with all the expansions and stuff. So yeah.
I think we lost one of our panelists, so I'll go next until they get back. My name is Orbital, also go Daniel, of course,
I
and
think we
I
lost
am a caster
Orbital
as
right
well
now.
as
Did we?
general production. I do, production side. I've run productions. I've also done fielding of directing for events. More on the side. I'm primarily a caster, but I have started working on setting up. I do
Do you want me to
freelance
go next
analytics
too?
or freelance just help
One.
for different groups. I've started locally helping to set up broadcasting programs, and it's been a lot of fun, specifically for a church at this current point, which was interesting to do in general when I heard they wanted to do esports, but it's been a lot of fun kind of building their production from the ground up. Favorite game ever that I played is that's a hard one. Mostly because I'm old and I was not really allowed to play a lot of video games, so it was like there were free games all over the place. One of them that's pretty obscure that I still play to this day, which I'm surprised is still alive, is a game called Puzzle Pirates. Basically, spent 7 or 8 hours just doing like Tetris, like fit the blocks and whatnot, and it was mind-numbingly boring, but exceptionally fun for my little brain that had nothing else to do. A game that I played the longest for is, of course, still like League of Legends, and I've dabbled in Valorant, but I'm terrible. But League was free at the time, and I started way too much. Oh no, I also did Counter Strike. Started with CS Source, I think. Played CS:GO and CS2 now. Haven't touched it in a while though, but that was like one of my OG games that I used to play. So transition from FPS to MOBA.
Awesome. And we'll see. Benson's having a couple audio issues, I think. Benson, are we good now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just Video Ninja just wasn't showing
Welcome
people for
back.
me, so sorry if I interrupted.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Oh
I
no.
jinxed it.
Yeah,
Wait.
even now, just kicking people out. But
Wait,
I mean, if it's
wait.
so fine.
You guys, wait. I see all of you, so
Okay.
are
I
we
mean,
good? I
if it
think we're
works for
good.
me, I'll just keep going out. Yeah. So yeah, my
I
name's
can't
Benson. I go
hear-
by
I can't
PlebW.
see
Benson,
I'm one
yeah.
of the
Yeah, I can't see your Benson.
current event staff.
Hold on. You guys follow my stream then. Just follow my stream.
Yeah.
See, production panel, and we have like 4 producers here to help tech issues. Okay, sorry, Benson. Go
Yet there
again.
are still tech issues. Some things
Okay.
never
Yeah.
change.
All right. So yeah, my name is Benson. I go by PlebW. I'm one of the current event leads for Overactive Media, specifically working for the Toronto Ultra Major, which is happening next week. So it's very exciting. In the past, I've done work with Team U Esports. I was there for 4 years, competing, president for 2 years, and I've done a lot of event work in the past. So I'm an event contractor for a lot of other orgs in Toronto and across Canada. So like Incendium Gaming, EMG, done a lot of stuff like GOML, Good Game Con, a bunch of other events around the city. So really happy to be here. And in the previous 3 years, I've also co-founded CIE. So glad to be back in this capacity.
Yay! You guys are all so accomplished and you do so much. But okay, so we'll jump straight into the questions, as permitting there are no more tech issues. We're hoping. So feel free to answer in any order you want. This is an open question. So what got you started in whether it's production, events, or graphic design, and kind of what's keeping you going down this path, or something similar down this path?
I guess I'll go ahead and start while everyone else kind of figures this out. Mine's pretty straightforward. Started in about 2015. I was playing in a tournament and got knocked out in double elimination bracket and said I have 2 days left to do something. And the org basically was like, "Hey, you're knocked out. Do you want to come cast?" Started casting and fell in love with esports ever since. Started branching out in about 2013, doing more than just casting. I ran my own event for when Fearless Draft was announced for League of Legends. Basically, popped the whole thing up myself, funded the whole thing myself, and it was very rewarding to have basically hands-on, not just from the caster standpoint, but from fielding the talent that I felt would complement everything the most, and having hands in all that and seeing it run well was a vastly different experience than just casting in general. So kind of been doing that ever since. And motivation wise, it's being able to see not just the talent that I fielded or myself as well, but also to see audience members. One of my big goals is always to have like parents or kids or teenagers or anyone really enjoy the event, and to go back maybe through Twitch chat or even at events that I do live. It's just going out and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're like, "Hey, we really loved it. Hey, we might even be coming back to these events," and hearing people that maybe may not have been so enamored with esports actually coming back is like, hey, I might actually come check this out, whether it be for my kids or just general enjoyment. Really just makes me want to keep doing this all the way through.
Mhm.
Wait, so you were playing and then they just randomly asked you to be a caster and you showed up?
Let's just say all the people that knew the game were playing. The people that were on the desk originally to cast had no idea what the game was, and so they desperately needed people that knew the game to actually cast. that was about it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess I can go next. For me, I've always liked virtual production and making graphics and stuff like that. I just love how the background staff and production and all the graphic stuff makes the players and the teams look really cool and create like a whole exciting experience for like everybody, like building up a story about like these players clashing together, stuff like that. But as for how I started, I dipped my toes into doing the broadcast side of things a couple of years ago, running a couple Overwatch streams for TMU's live events on Twitch. And then after that, from there, I got really into it when Kirsten or Caprixel brought me on board to UFT's esports production. Then there, I designed the stream package for them with a nice UFT coat of blue paint, and then just helped them level up their production quality overall. And then throughout 2023, we did weekly broadcasts across like all their games like Overwatch, League, Valorant, CS, and more. And that led me here to CIE, doing pretty similar things, make cool things, make players look cool, and just deliver a cool experience for hopefully everybody.
I guess I can jump in here. 1 sec, I gotta close the stream so I don't hear myself twice. Okay.
There is a mute button.
I know there's a mute button. Listen.
I would hope you know there's a mute button.
Yeah, producer, by the way. Main way that I sort of got into production, like for the first 3-4 years of my time in esports, I was just the caster. That was all that I really worried about. I did a little production on the side. Like I knew how to run OBS. So for certain leagues, they'd just be like, hey, can you run OBS? And I was like, yeah, I know how to click the button to start stream. I know how to transition the scenes. We're good. I didn't really make anything from there. It was more so April 2023, CVAL West, after I'd been casting that with Daniel Jobin, another Canadian among all of us. We decided to stream some of the games that were rescheduled. They were on like a Wednesday, and Face It wasn't going to cover it. So I was like, okay, let's see what we can do. Let's try and make a package. Let me get some of these observer people that I know, and we'll make a stream happen. And it was really successful. From there, I sort of read the room, and I'm like, doing production gives me a lot more opportunities. It gives an opportunity for me to sort of showcase the skills that I've learned as a caster and just implement them. So, I mean, Orbital, you can speak to this as well. When you're thinking about Fearless Draft, there's nothing native to League that really builds that out. What if you made a tool that showed all your picks and bans and all that stuff? What if you put that into the producer side? That would be great, right? I was like, okay, why don't I just do that? Why don't I just make that stuff happen? Hey, you want to do really cool replays and stuff? Hey, I'm a producer. I can just do that now. So it was sort of really cool to see that full circle, to move over to production and be able to implement all of that stuff. And then from there, I was a COVID caster, so I never really did any live events. In the last year, I was able to do a lot of those, and it was a lot of learning. We'll put it that way. And that's sort of the biggest lesson that I've learned in the last couple months. Like live production's hard. Live production's really hard. So yeah, it's learned a lot, but it's been a good switchover. I'm happy with it.
I can kind of go off of that one because I suppose mine was sort of the same type of journey where I started out as a caster because I met Humber's senior esports administrator in a class one day. And I was like, I love esports. I played Melee. Bernard's a Melee guy, so we kind of connected over that. And he sort of went, I'm in desperate need of casters. Can you try it out? I'd never done it before. And I also didn't play League, which didn't help me much. But I went and learned the game and still learning the game as much as I can. But, play-by-play side of things, as long as you have the basics. But yeah, sort of to Adam's point there, I was running into all these issues where I'm like, I could see this working better in that way. You know, this system that we have right now isn't working out so great, so I wanted to try and contribute in that way. And because Humber's um, current iteration of our program is so small, there was a lot of room to work and build out systems and build out different ways of doing things that hadn't been tried before. So um, I had a bit of experience from many, many years ago working festivals and concerts that I used to set up. So I kind of tried to bring that into the role a little bit. And yeah, it's so fun. It's such a fun, opportunity. I like the chaos a little bit too, I think, the uncertainty is sort of exciting. So that's sort of where I came from.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'll wrap it up here. Yeah, I mean, I got into events specifically like almost like a decade ago. So I started my first esports event when I was around 11 years old. So as a kid, I was like volunteering on like Facebook groups. Like I believe one of the first ones I ever did was like the Toronto League community back in like 2011. I literally just DM'd the guy. It's like, hey, I know you're running like a $50 tournament. Can I come out and help volunteer? It's like, I know I'm 11. You can't pay me. I'm just gonna, try to get experience. And that led to a downward spiral of me working for free for over 5 years as a esports exposure payment system. So, but it ended up working out well. I made a lot of connections through, the industry and got scaled up pretty big. So I went from, like 20-person events at Internet Cafe all the way to, Collegiate and Good Game Con and EGLX, GOML, stuff like that. And then I really started my really, I guess, professional / career, like full-time job. I mean, when around 2022, 2021, when Toronto Ultra were hosting their first major. At the time, I was at TMU doing collegiate stuff, and they're like, "Hey, we're hosting it on your campus. Do you want to help run the event with us?" I'm like, "Sure." And then ever since then, we've approaching 5 events at the Mattamy Athletic Center through Toronto Ultra and Toronto Defiant. So we've hosted like the Overwatch League Grand Finals and whatnot, and it's been a really good success because now everyone doesn't really know that the event space is so tight knit that if you know a guy who does events, you'll probably reach in and know a guy who knows a different kind of event structure. So it's really interesting to see that, and obviously the professional career is just networking and getting to know people. And if you do events, you need producers, you need casters, so everyone just kind of knows each other. And if you do well in the space, it turns out well. And that's the best way to get involved, just reaching out, because never know when someone's going to DM you and say, hey, I need a guy last minute, pay me $5 an hour to cast. Works out well.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting to hear that all of you kind of, or most of you, started from one place that wasn't production and just somehow have all hit a production bubble. That's also something that's really cool about industry where it's you can do everything and try everything and then really figure out like where you want to go. But we'll kind of stay a bit on the production gear of things. So for anyone who doesn't know, can someone give a like really brief description of what a producer does? Because I don't think a lot of people know what happens behind the scenes.
I don't think there's such thing as a brief description about what I do as a producer because I
They
okay,
just
I'll
push
just
buttons. They just push buttons.
oh,
That's all.
yeah, we just push buttons. Okay, let me actually explain this, Orbital. I mean, online, yes, your producer is usually the person who's pushing the buttons. Technically, that is your tech director. That's the person who's making sure the stream happens. The producer is more so a role where you're making everything on the stream work well, whether that come from talent management, whether that come from building the show. You do basically anything that needs to be done. I've learned that pretty quickly that being a producer isn't actually the one who presses the buttons. It's the person who does everything else except do that at live events. So I guess, for instance, at CCC, I was running around finding people for interviews. Half the time, the rest of the NECC staff were in meetings. So I'm like, hey, I'm now your TO. Guess what? I'm still a producer, but that's how it works. You basically just do everything to make sure your stream, your show, your everything runs well. And if that means you have to get on your hands and knees and just start running around the place and dropping down 30,000 steps in your single esports arena, you got to do what you got to do. And that's how it is. That's as brief as you can put it.
Yeah, that's super fair.
See if anyone else has
It
an idea.
seems to be a bit of a thankless job for people who don't know. Um, but speaking about that, so is there, I guess, what is each of your favorite thing that was not a proper sentence? For each of you, do you have a favorite thing about production that you like that like keeps you here? Or I guess most hated works too.
I guess that. Yeah, keeps us wanting to do the same thing again. I guess is
Yeah.
the best way to say it. That's fair. I wonder if Benson. I want to hear Benson because I remember on a panel with Benson before. I want to know what Benson's thoughts because you've been here the longest I think out of all of us, right? Doing this
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, it's just like the growth in community keeps bringing people back because like everyone's getting involved in esports now, so stuff's scaling up. But like, it just sucks because like a lot of issues can't be fixed. You know, when you're doing like remote broadcasting and you make the transition in person, stuff like that. But it's just like the rewarding factor about running productions and events. Like your work come to life. You don't know if this graphic's going to work out well. This asset's going to work out well, but you see it on stream and you're like, hey, this works out really well. And yeah, I mean, it just leads to a loophole of opportunities, and you don't know what you're going to do next. And that's kind of like the joy of esports, as much as it sucks, because sometimes not knowing what next means you don't have a job for the next month or two, right? So, it's kind of a fun little gamble sometimes, but at the end, it works out well, and you always keep working with the same people usually. So that's what keeps me going in the long term.
It is a really nice community, and it's funny. After you guys were all talking about your starts, I sort of clicked through your Discord profiles and just looked at all our mutual friends, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So, like, even though we've never met in person, I'm like, I know you. We all know like the same 6 people that I was just, people I just met, and then we're going getting coffee
16?
together. Yeah,
60 people probably. Yeah, 600 maybe.
Seems high, yeah. But that's a big part of it, right? The community is so good, so welcoming. I guess if to your question, maybe thought of one moment. This might sound weird, but the end of the stream when you finally got there and you're like, this is the close of the show. You get to sit back and look at the work and the specific accomplishment. There's a certain satisfaction in having a defined goal in that. A lot of industries I've worked in, and I've worked in a lot of industries, don't have that same sort of thing every day. I love being able to set out, I want to stream this event, do this thing, hit all these beats, and then boom, there you go. Then you start again. So it's like Benson was just saying, it's a really interesting cycle. I don't know. I love it.
But not all the what is it? Gosh, now I lost it. I had such a good joke and then I lost it. It's the putting out all the fires behind it and saying, okay, listen, at the end of the day, there's no more fires, right? That's actually what you're most excited about.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, finally, I can sit down and
you're like, okay, we're good. We don't have to have that anymore.
Yeah. That's not a problem for another 2 weeks now.
It's too
Yeah, that's
real.
interesting. You guys talk about like the relief at like the end of it. I kind of like live for the chaos in the midst of the event. It's like not knowing what's gonna happen and then like scrambling to like get everything to work out just fine. Like the stress of it, like kind of like in the chaos where like you don't really get to think and you just like do. I really like that. I really like that feeling. But I guess that like the end of it, by the end, everything is done, and you get to watch back the VOD, and it's like, oh, that part looked really nice. Oh, that part was cool. Like things like that. That's like nice. Like you get to relive that as like an audience. That's like neat too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We might not be saying it, but I think you have to love the fires a little bit too, even if you don't say it out loud.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, one of the things that I was talking to the Hawaiians about, I call them the Hawaiians because that's where the
You gotta explain who they are.
the esports U production stuff. They're all in Hawaii, so that stuff. So I was talking to the Hawaiians about this, and Kyler, K-Tad, super fantastic producer and all that stuff. He said that how he treats these events is ask me how I feel on May 6th, because that's the day after the event is over. That's when everything's done. But then you can look back on it and really see the work that you've done. So I mean, yeah, you sort of have to love the fires a little bit, but when you're actually living in the fires, it sucks. It's terrible. It's awful. You're like, man, why am I doing this? But then you're done the event and you can sit back and like, yeah, that was worth it. That was worth it. I want to do it again. And then you go to the next event in 2 days and you're like, do I really want to do this anymore? The cycle continues. Maybe we're just all masochists being in the production industry.
Well, it reminds me a little bit. I was in music for about 7 years in middle school and high school. And it reminds me a lot of concert days. If anyone's been in concert days, anyone that's been in music, you are basically practicing like your entire soul for what 5-6 months straight. You only have 7 or 8 pieces that you're going to play with a group, maybe 100, 120, depending on how large your school is, or if you're in college, it's about the same thing. Same thing with field performances. However, no one else sees that. No one else is, unless you're with your bandmates or the people that you work with beside, no one else sees that except for about 2 hours on the day. The audience doesn't see all your hard work that goes into it. They don't see anything. And they only see the people that are standing at the forefront, meaning the people that have solos, meaning the people that have duets or the loudest voice in the entire auditorium. It's something that I've really had to learn. And they don't care about the 5 months beforehand. What they care about is the product at the end of the day. And so, for us performers, we are sitting through those 2 hours just like, God, I did this wrong. I did that wrong. This is awful. That is awful. And then you go talk to the audience members and they're like, man, that was wonderful. That was amazing. I don't know what you're saying. You did a fantastic job. I loved every moment of it. I'm going to come back next year. And part of you is like, yeah, there were like 17 fires I had to put out. I dropped my sticks, or my mic got shut off, or my trumpet got turned around, or hey, this button didn't work. The audience doesn't care half the time, and it's crazy to see that change, but it still makes you love it, because it means that for as much as we are sitting here critiquing ourselves, we're also we know we're putting on a show. So during the time maybe we're freaking out. I mean, I know I'm freaking out half the time, whether I'm a caster, when I'm producing or putting anything on, whether it be like the 2 days leading up where I'm like, crap, I don't even have my graphics set and none of this looks right. But after the show, yeah, we're tired, but I look back, I'm like, God, I want to do it again. Like, I loved every moment of it. I wouldn't trade it out for the world.
Mm. Yeah, it seems like it's bonding through fire. You really get to know what people are like when they're stressed out, and if you can get along when you're both stressed and angry, you might get
It's
along just in
trauma
general.
bonding. Yeah, we're just all trauma bonding with each other. Like the bonds I have with my casters, it's like, man, that was awful. Let's do it again, and he doesn't do it again.
Hey, Adam, how's that DM going?
Okay, we'll change
man.
gears off of production just for a little bit. So Benson, this is for you. So I guess this technically does also apply to production, but for events in general, kind of how do you ensure the balance that there's communication internally and externally, and then balancing stakeholder expectations and kind of making sure, for lack of a better term, that nothing blows up in a bad way?
We're in the middle. We're like a week or two away from the Toronto Ultra Major, so we're in that battle right now where we have to unload, tons and truckloads of equipment and gear. And the number one plan we have right now is expect this thing to fuck up. Sorry for the language, but expect something to blow up, expect something to go wrong, expect an attendee to, break something, expect the mic to blow up. And it's an experience because I've worked large scale events, I've worked small scale events, and the thing I've learned with each one is there's always a contingency plan to go back on, especially whether it's something as big as the Call of Duty League major, right? As something as scuffed as it might be, it's like, hey, if we don't have 4,000 lanyards strung up, what do we do? It's like every single thing has a backup plan. Every single thing has a reason to fail, and the best way to learn doing that is just do it right the first time, go through it the entire team, and communication's really key. But the thing is, so even if I've worked like Overwatch League, Call of Duty, Smash events, people who need to be communicated to sometimes just don't communicate well. Like for example, we had this one guy who had his walkie-talkie muted the entire time, and meanwhile, this guy was like the floor director running around, and he's like, "Why can't anyone hear me? Why can't it?" I'm like, bro, it happens all the time. Despite how experienced people are, you just need to always have that fail safe, and especially just like it just sucks sometimes, and you can't really control it. And when it does happen, the biggest thing I taught people is like, don't stress over it. In that moment, it's gonna be like you're really gonna feel like really embarrassed, really sad about it. It's like this is the reason why the event's gonna fail. I'm gonna get a Twitter thread made about how this sucks and stuff like that. But at the end, it's just like a really small moment, and half the time, if it does happen, make it comedic. Don't be mad over it. Have a good time about it. So that's the best way we've been doing it. And like one key example I can bring is like as long as the audience is happy, as long as the viewers are happy, people can look back on it as a good moment. It's all fine. Don't stress over it.
Mhm.
I think that's
Yeah.
so important with events like the not stressing over it part. When because we're, like I said, Humber's still growing, right? So basically all of our events are us learning on the job, and you know that leads to a lot of stress. But it's like, okay, guys, what are we gonna do? Sit here and yell at each other and like be like, you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing? Like that makes no sense. Come on. Like, I know it sucks and I know we all want to have a good show, but like, I think laugh about it, to Benson's point, is just the best thing. It's like, yeah, all the power just went out. Like, what are you gonna do? I guess.
No.
I'm not an electrical engineer. I don't know. It's not my problem really. And that's led to a lot more fun. Once we got into that sort of groove, it's like, all right, cool. No lights, no problem.
Mhm. Yeah, it definitely helps probably to take a lighter point of view when all of you are just super stressed out for like an entire week. Um, but okay, so Acrylic, this one is for you, since I think you're the only one of the only graphic designers here. Um, so I'm just curious to know kind of what your process is like when you create your designs, and then what the feedback process is with whoever you have to deliver them to.
Um, yeah, sure. So I think for esports graphics, it's honestly not unlike any other graphic design process. You do your research, you brainstorm an idea, you conceptualize it, and then you get your feedback, and then you ultimately deliver it. That's the gist of it, at least. Um, when it comes to sorry, your second part of the question is how the feedback process usually
Yeah,
works. Yeah, so I guess like a lot of it really comes down to communicating and talking to other people that you're going to be working with, because at the end of the day, it's like a collaborative event, right? It's not just going to be you that just like makes it and then like people see it, because then like there's going to be people that handle the assets. There's going to be the producers that run the stream that's going to be using the assets, and of course the assets going to have to like back up the actual tournament, the stream, and show information, and people are gonna have to use it. People are gonna see it. So talking to the people that's gonna be handling it or using it's gonna be a big part of it. Sometimes you're on the team doing that. Sometimes you aren't. So that it's really important to be in contact with like those people, so to make sure, hey, does this work? No, it doesn't. Like, why doesn't it work? Like, what can I do to improve it? Oh, you want it to look like that, or you want it to show it like this. You want the people to be able to see this information on screen during this scene, and you're like, okay, and it's all about like a team problem solving thing at the end of the day. It feels more like that than just sitting down and like, let's say, like drawing by yourself. It's like a lot more um uh yeah, like problem solving and like solving a puzzle together type of thing.
hmm okay.
Yeah, I guess I can follow that up with just talking about what it's like to work with graphic designers. Because
Oh,
shocker,
yeah, I
my
would love to
graphic
know the other side.
yeah, here's the other side. Because shocker, my graphic design involves going into Photoshop and like taking stuff from other people that the other people made and just being like, okay, that goes there. Let's put a piece of text there. Let's put a picture there. Okay, this one goes there. Like that. It's really like cursory. Like sometimes that's just what I do to save time for other people. But in terms of like graphics from the production side and what we request of the people, it's like it's so much about communication. Because I'll just be as blunt as possible. Realistically, the first time that we get a design or something, it's not going to be what we want, and we need to keep developing that and keep working on it. So, having worked with a bunch of different graphic designers specifically on esports, it all comes down to being as clear as possible and being as flexible as possible. There's some things that are very possible if you're doing it over a 2-day turnaround. If I let's say ask Acrylic to make me something and I need like certain things in it, I got to be as specific as possible. I need this, I need this, I need this. I need to make sure we can show all the information. You get one shot to do it. Let's just try and make it as clear as possible. There's other times where you have 2-3 weeks to build stuff out, and that's where you go back and forth and say, "Oh, can you change this color to this one?" They change the color. "Oh, I don't like that color. Let's change it to this color." And it ends up being like a back and forth. But it's just about having patience on both sides, I think, to make sure that
Yeah.
you end up at the same end goal. Because end of the day, it's not you versus the graphic designer. It's you and the graphic designer versus the deadline. And like, there's no point getting mad at your artists. Like, there's a reason you in some ways you need to get the artist, and that's because you're so unartistic that you can't make the graphics yourself. And that's how I feel every time. So I'm like, yeah, you got this. You got this art. I trust you.
Yeah, and then
Thank you for trusting us. You gave me mini PTSD when you said, I don't like this color. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean you don't like this color, man? What's wrong with it? I don't know. I just don't like it's just not the vibe, you know? I'm like, okay, man.
yeah, and then bringing it from like an event standpoint, it's like we never use the first draft because like graphic designs and like events sucks because like you get the weirdest requests. So we do like a yearly like 50-foot banner, for example, and graphic designers are like, wait, this thing's gonna be printed on like a 50 by 50-foot thing, and then you don't know how it's gonna work out, and then you just see it printed out, it looks ugly, you're like, oh shit, I gotta redo the whole thing.
Oh, 1 second, Vincent. I think we lost your audio. Did you accidentally unplug your headphones? Okay. Well, we'll give him 1 second. More tech issues. Yay! Oh,
Oh, there we go.
there you go.
Oh,
You're back. You're
no.
back. Oh,
No.
I'm just using. Hello?
Oh no.
oh.
Oh, is he lagging now?
Just for
I don't know.
He's
It
lagging
just sounds like
now.
he's
Yeah,
toggling
Hello?
his push to
Okay.
talk
Oh,
on and
no.
off.
Oh no!
all right, is it working now?
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Okay,
ironic
perfect.
it's
Yeah,
happening on the production panel.
Yeah, for some context for people, I'm inside like those like audio proof boxes in the office. So the Wi-Fi here kind of sucks. So I'm assuming that's the reason for my issues. But yeah, did I get my point across, or for the graphics point?
Uh,
Oh,
we
I'll
ended
just
off with your 50-foot banner.
yeah. So yeah, like just account for stuff not looking good because you're gonna have to make the most weirdest shit ever. 50-foot banner, 50-foot cardboard cutout. Just like get ready for that because esports is all about really weird stuff. Sometimes you might do Rubik's cubes, you might do rulers. Just design and be creative with it. Yeah.
That is awesome to hear. Okay, so we'll probably tackle maybe one more question and then hop into Rankle, maybe two if we're quick. I don't know. So for anyone who's looking to get into events, especially for esports or production or graphic design, is there anywhere they can go or like to improve or like where do they start? Because I know a lot of people just don't know where to start because it's a little bit intimidating.
Ooh, can I take this one? Just off rip. Uh, anyone that you see on air, reach out to them. Hit up. Literally one of the best things, and I say this only because some of the people that are tuning in may be like, "Oh, is this regular production? I have to go through like an agency. I have to go through this, do all that." Esports is one of the most direct access points for anyone in the industry. If you are looking to do this, if you're in college, if you're even, I want to say, you heard it from Benson, literally like in a kid stage, but you see someone doing something, try and reach out to them. Find them on socials, reach out to the event itself. Usually like the social media manager will be like, hey, can I get in touch with someone? Unlike, I think, in other areas and other entertainment scenes, esports is one of the last remaining areas where you can direct contact just about anyone you see on air and anyone that you don't see on air. Reach out to people. Don't be afraid to kind of put yourself out there because you're kind of in the same situation. We're also waiting to hear from you, or we might reach out to you directly if we're trying to field an event. Just the main thing is if you see someone and you like what they do, feel free to reach out to them. Find them on socials, hit them up, or be in Twitch chat. I've seen people even in Twitch chat be like, "Hey, can I get on this?" And someone will answer it on the other side. I mean, we even talk about it. We're watching Twitch chat half the time. If you say you want to do something, you never know. Well, Adam might not because Adam's doing other stuff. He's putting out like 15 fires behind me. I'm chilling there like on the screen, just like, "Hey, I'm good." But I would say step one, if you see them on screen or if you hear about them in some sphere or circle, don't hesitate to reach out. That is step number one.
Yeah. I'll just piggyback right off that. Like, there's a reason why I put my email, I put my Discord, I put all of my socials out there for people to contact me, is because I would rather people who are interested in stuff reach out to me and say, hey, is there anything that I can do to help out and stuff? And I think I found some of my best, I guess, production stuff off of doing that. I can speak to our league observer for NECC this year, Bridie. She cold DM'd me and said, hey, I've never observed League before. Can I learn observing League? I said, okay, we're going to do that for the first couple of weeks. I walked her through how to observe and everything, got her set up with everything. Now she's a fantastic League observer at that. And she was in Texas, and I was running around putting out fires as usual. And my other two producers didn't want to observe League. And I'm like, hey, can you observe League? And she's like, okay, there you go. So then all of a sudden you're observing on the esports stadium at Arlington stage. Your observing is up there. And it was all off of a cold DM. So, I mean, realistically, there's a lot of ways that you can just get involved in some way by reaching out, being available, and in some ways just dropping your ego and saying, hey, I want to try and do this. Let me talk to someone, even if they reject me for this, or they don't hire me for this, or they have like a bunch of constructive criticism and they can't put me on this show. It's all about the learning experience, and it takes a while to build it up. Just don't be scared, because end of the day, there's a chance one day that you just need like 14 observers for something, and you're like, I need observers. And the more people that reach out, the easier it is to figure stuff out.
Yeah, and just following up on that, like esports people are like the friendliest people I've ever met. Like you can easily like just DM any caster, any producer, and just like ask for advice. And the number one red flag I noticed is if an esports person closes you off and like is like, I do consultation for $500 an hour, reach out to me there for advice. Red flag. If they're not open about connecting, open about, you know, giving advice, open about showing you the ropes, then it's usually a big red flag in the industry for me, at least. So always reach out, and if they offer that, say no and find someone else. But you know, even like the top level casters, you can always DM. Might take them a little bit to respond, but they'll always reach out, and that's the best way to get involved. Because even though the industry seems so big and so overpopulated, it's still very tight knit. So that's the best way to get involved.
Listen, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to throw out broadcast.gg. I love that's a good spot for resources and also opportunities. So you can do a bit of both. There's volunteer entry level stuff. A lot of the volunteer stuff is just like no experience necessary. So if you reach out there, but they also have a lot of like learning resources as well that you can follow up on. They do occasionally. I've seen them do VOD reviews, but sort of sometimes not. I'm not sure, but it's a good spot. It's a Discord and a website.
Yeah, and I guess sort of to follow up on Benson's point, like, listen, I'm terminally online. You can just message me whenever, and I'll help you out with stuff. Like, I won't lie, I sit here 14, 15 hours a day some days where I'm just plugging away at stuff. So realistically, I'll literally just plug myself for this.
I may or may not have DM'd Adam at one point at like 3 a.m. because I forgot to reach back, and bro's still online doing something, and vice versa. He hits me up at 3 a.m. like, bro, I need you to cover this, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, why are you up at 3 or 4 in the morning? You have work soon.
Yeah, like my main thing is I live in EST and I sleep in PST. That's just how it works. But like if anyone is interested in getting their foot in the door in terms of production, observing, casting, I'll do caster VOD reviews, I'll do production VOD reviews, I'll do all that sort of stuff. Straight up just reach out to me, and I've got a decent amount of projects over the summer. If you want a shadow, come on down.
Yeah, it's like someone that's like more on the shy end that just likes to keep their head down and like focus on like doing my own little thing. And like I it took me like 2+ weeks to like even get convinced to like be on this panel at all. I'm like listening to all you guys talk about how open it is, and like even though I've even experienced like how nice the people in the esports industry are, like, you know, hearing everybody talk about this, I'm taking notes.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's really nice about our community art industry, that it is really open, really welcoming. And then as big as the community is, and we'll say like even in NA, like you'll eventually kind of know everybody. And then you'll know the people you don't know are all the newcomers that are a little younger. They're like, okay, time to mentor, and it's a whole circle. It's really cool the way our ecosystem is set up. But that being said, are we ready for a little bit of Rankdle?
Yes. Rankdle time.
Okay. So for anyone who doesn't know who is watching Rankdle, we will be watching a couple clips. So there's 3 clips in total. And we'll have all of our, I'm just calling you guys all producers at this point. We'll have our producers pick what rank they think this this player is from this clip. So this time we are doing Valorant, and then we'll also do a second game. But we are ready to go. Okay, so this is the first clip.
Okay. I see control in there. I see good spray, right? Right?
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Okay. Also, feel free to commentate as it's going on and
Oh
discuss.
no.
Do you want to see the clip one more
I'm
time?
scared to try that.
Yeah, let's
Even though
rewatch
it's
that.
hard and work, I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm just glad he got an ace. I'm chilling. I'm happy.
Okay, we'll
Oh boy.
watch it one more time.
Oh, did he blind himself? I couldn't tell right there.
Oh, I think that's their Phoenix.
That's their
Watching
okay. I
through
want
this
to
one.
make sure of that. I was like, dang. This was in a clutch too. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Under pressure, gets an ace, draws it back. Dang.
All
What are
right.
we thinking?
Who's making the first guess?
Oh god. Oh,
My
who's keeping tally of who guesses what? Are we doing this? Are we doing this for real? Is that how we're doing it?
No,
Yeah,
we're doing.
I'm thinking for
I don't have
real.
that production skill, so
They're
you
good.
guys can self keep tally.
Okay.
here's the three main things I notice about this is one, dude is flexing the right gun buddy, so that either means that you're radiant or you're like platinum.
True.
Second thing, the enemy is playing Brimstone on Pearl. Like, what are we doing with this comp, man? There is an Astro, which at least saves it a little bit. And third thing, it's old clip because they still have the headshot banner on the bottom. So
Oh.
Oh. I
they
didn't
don't give
notice.
it away with the gun buddy on the gun though. That's always a good one.
Yeah. All right. So we're saying like closer to plat? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's like plat diamond.
I'm
Ooh.
guessing
Definitely.
diamond.
Dude
I'm
is
just gonna bite the
crouching.
bullet.
As well.
I'm just gonna guess diamond.
I'm gonna go
Oh,
plat.
man. All right.
That's diamond.
I'll go. I think diamond dude's aim is pretty good still, and that's better than most plots I've seen. So, like,
I think I'm on
good
that side
spray
of
control
things
true.
too.
Yeah,
Okay, but if we're
Yeah.
guessing aim, I feel like that's like a hit or miss. Sometimes you have like silver people that have like insane aim.
Yeah, but like the
Oh, I'm the
control, the
opposite.
spray control was good
Yeah.
too.
That's
all
true.
I've seen, so.
I'm just going like diamond just because like he also fumbles like the ability usage around the corner. Like he like fat fingers like both abilities at the same time. I feel like if you're like at least radiant, you'd at least like not do that. I don't know.
That's fair.
Do we need to account for rank inflation because it's old? Is that a thing?
Ooh.
Potentially.
True.
That would be all league side though, not Valorant. They haven't done that to Valorant yet. They haven't
Not
added
yet.
2 brand new ranks to mess with
I'm
us.
staying at plat in my brain.
All
I'm
right,
keeping
all
it-
right.
I'm
Adam's
gonna
at plat. I'm gonna go.
Everyone
diamond.
else can say diamond. I'll stand
Okay,
out.
we'll see.
All right, let's see it.
Send in.
Hey,
Oh my!
What?
Nah.
Nah.
Yo, who boosted this Phoenix?
I was so excited to see. I was so excited. I forgot that they put the middle as your answer, not the correct. I was like, oh dang. Well, now I'm
Okay.
depressed.
NTNT, run it back.
All right, next one. Let me check the quality. I really wish they were not 70, 60. It's okay.
Ooh. Okay. How close is his face to the monitor? Let's
What?
find out.
No, this guy's clicking pixels.
Dang.
That was actually kind of crazy.
Inches away from the screen. Inches. Has to see every single one.
Mm-hmm.
He has a flat screen as a monitor.
That would be crazy, actually.
I think this is
It's
like
a 60-inch
bait.
monitor.
This is like a bait video.
I think this
'cause,
is
like,
a bait as well.
Yeah, because why is it's 0-3? Why is the enemy team pushing on an supposed eco? I think.
You think this is bait? You think this was just a lucky round?
That
Maybe.
third
It's hard to
headshot,
say.
he was moving during it. And the fourth
Yeah.
one, the dude crouches. Like, these two are nice. But he's still moving when he's shooting. This is stuff
He
I would do.
stopped- he
It's
stopped
gold.
him.
It could be like plat or gold in my opinion.
I mean, we undershot the last one. Might as well undershoot this one, right?
Might as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess silver.
So,
the
oh man,
silver?
so low in the
I'm going all the way.
That almost felt disrespectful the way you said it.
No. I'm going big or going home.
Okay, I
Hmm.
like it. I like it.
Okay, so we got
Yeah,
one
if it's a
person
big
for
flip, I'm
silver.
going all the way.
I think 2 for gold. I'll sit silver too. You know what? I'm in that same bucket. Go bigger.
Hey.
Okay,
We're
silver.
gonna scorched earthing it. We'll just go silver.
Silver?
What have I started?
Just pure disrespect silver. Okay.
What?
Oh!
You guys are in the
There's no way.
0 percentile.
Oh no.
No. I'm so sorry.
Chaos and full nuclear.
We're not even 0 for 2. We are like -5 for 2, by the way. Now we have full
I
on.
hate this.
Okay, this is the last one.
By the way, I guess we should do. Oh, okay. Let's see this. Okay.
Wait,
Ooh. A little bit slow on getting to the targets there.
did the Euro have the ability out?
Mm. Wow.
Huh.
There's a res, and then a quick tap. Mm,
The jump swing is crazy.
yeah, that
I'm
this
gonna be
actually
brutally.
feels lower though.
I'm gonna be brutally honest. I think this is iron.
Oh, that one.
I like it.
The one giveaway is that their sage's name is Spit on Me, so it has to be
Yeah.
like low.
Also, like I don't want to be that guy, but one of them has the default Vandal skin.
Bruh, don't call us guys that only run defaults poor. I don't need that in my life right now.
I saw 0 headshots in this clip. This looks like my gameplay. Okay, now this is
Yeah.
actually like gold.
I would say
Also, they,
bronze. I
like-
wouldn't go iron.
Also, they like throw out all their abilities at the same time.
Yeah. I'd
What
say
if I
bronze. 'Cause
swing?
iron is like
Yeah.
you don't even hit shots and you're spraying at each other for about 2 seconds, and that's literally my ranking. So you know.
They have the Xbox Game Pass, buddy. So it's like bronze, silver. They play this game enough so that they're not like the bots in Iron where they walk around and
If this
Don't
is
shoot
gold, I'm
back.
gonna cry. By the way, if this is anything higher than gold, I'm gonna cry.
I'll say silver.
I want to say bronze.
Silver.
We gotta go higher. We gotta go for silver. Keep
Silver?
undershooting.
All right. So it sounds like silver's. Yep.
I'm scared now.
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Gold. It's so sad.
Holy.
Well, this is our
Oh, boy.
second 0 score. That's okay. It's okay.
At least we're not the only ones. I'll take it.
Hey, you know,
I guess I did want to ask before we do this. Show of hands, who plays Valorant that up? Like, what are our ranks in there? Because I'm like iron bronze.
Don't look at my tracker. Don't do it. It's bad.
Vincent, what are you sitting at?
I'm just Wash Descendant right now.
Oh, okay. Who else? Alex. Alex doesn't want to
Oh,
answer.
Oh no.
Alex doesn't want to answer. Acrylic, what's your rank?
I haven't been playing the past like episode and a half, but the last I played, I think I hit like D1, like an
Nice.
episode or two
This is
ago.
just a 5-stack of Doom then.
This is the 5-stack of Doom.
Oh man, it would be really bad.
All right. That was
Okay.
good.
I can't
that
believe
was
that clip
good.
was radiant. There's no way. Yeah, I blame Benson. He baited me. He said it's a bait clip.
It had to be. Why are they pushing 0-3 eco? Like,
And I look at the
they're
sub
radiant.
count. Look at the sub count. 65 out of 70. That either means that they're like a personality higher or they're like really cracked at the game. It's none in the middle. We went with the personality higher that they were silver.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we are almost at the top of the hour, which means the panel is almost done. So we'll say thank you to all 5 of you for being here. It was really great chatting with you all the last hour. mostly about production, but we had some events and graphic designs in there. And I think the general takeaway is you guys are all firefighters and you enjoy being firefighters. Chaos is good, but yeah. So once again, thank you to everyone watching for staying with us for the last hour, and thank you to Acrylic, Alex, Adam, Daniel, Orbital, yes, and Benson for joining us and sharing all your knowledge. If anyone is looking for graphic designers, event hosts, and producers, I'm sure all 5 of you are available. Reach out to them. But yeah, so next, we'll be back in about a half hour with our next panel, and that is the student leaders in esports. So we'll have 4 new guests and Alex again on that panel. And then right after that, we'll be moving into our League of Legends top 8 and our League of Legends semifinals. And one last thank you to our sponsors for this event, BMO and TELUS. Without both of you, we wouldn't be able to put this on this year. So thank you very much for all of your support and help throughout this process. Oh, and one last thing, anyone in the chat and also to you panelists, if you want to enter our raffle, please put in hashtag CIE 2024 in the chat in all caps, and that is, you can be entered. I think today we're giving away 2 $25 Riot cards, so you can be less poor and get you a non-default Vandal skin if that's what you wish. But yeah, so thank you to everybody, and we will see you all in about a half hour.
Bye.